Hey guys, it's Mecha-san here. Alright, so I'm reacting to this video made by the YouTuber The Review. Normally I don't normally the kind of thing I would do, but on my Discord server where we've been talking about a lot of the old cartoons from like late 80s, the 90s, and early odds that God really defined a generation, defined animation and stuff. And well, this topic here is in line with that thought, and I want to share it. It's the five '90s Nicktoons that changed animation forever. And what bigger Nicktoon here than frickin' SpongeBob, which what right now I think is going through a goddamn marathon to celebrate like the anniversary, and it's been going on for a while. Is it still going on? Yep. I'm looking at the schedule right now. Here, it's still going on with the Patrick Star Show. Which why? And Capricorn. Okay, SpongeBob. Say the Patrick Star Show. I never seen it. I didn't even know it was a thing until years later. It sounds like I can't help but see this. This is like when Sheen from Jimmy Neutron got his own show. It's like, no, does it work? But yeah, the '90s and Nickelodeon and such were so many shows that still hold up to this day. That lived on to the early odds, to the early 2000s and such here, and with brand new shows, episodes every day, every week. And let's just see.
Nickelodeon wasn't just a kids' network, it was a revolution.
Doug,
while other
Ren and
channels
Stimpy,
were playing it safe with reruns and toy commercials disguised as cartoons, Nickelodeon took risks. They gave us weird, wacky, and sometimes downright
Mr. Dink
shows that didn't just entertain kids. They
Ren and
changed
Stimpy, Rugrats.
From gross-out humor to groundbreaking storytelling.
Yep.
These five Nicktoons reshaped the industry, proving that cartoons could be more than just Saturday.
Rocko's Modern Life, which we finally got like that. We got that movie, a special movie on Netflix there, which I did a reaction to, and all of those callbacks and character. I mean, freaking Captain Compost Heap.
Let's take a nostalgic dive into five Nicktoons that shook up animation as we
Real Monsters.
Whether for better,
that in the background right there,
or worse. Number 5, Real Monsters.
Yep. Yeah, that's iconic.
If you grew up in the 90s, chances are you remember Real Monsters, or at least have vague childhood memories of being slightly disturbed by it.
Yeah, that was a thing back then, actually, with the late 80s and some early 90s, where they had a lot of quote-unquote disturbing and gross out shows, like this, the Beetlejuice cartoon.
This show was weird, gross, and unlike anything else on TV at the time. Which is exactly why it deserves way more recognition.
Oblina,
premiering in
Crumb Ipkiss.
1994, this Nickelodeon
1994.
Three young monsters studying the fine art of scaring humans at a bizarre underground monster academy.
There was a lot of rules and everything.
Potter, but if Hogwarts was a sewer, and Dumbledore was a giant monster named the Grumble.
The Grumble.
Created by Klasky Csupo, the same studio behind Rugrats. The show had that signature squiggly offbeat animation style that made everything feel just a little unsettling.
Yeah, I don't know. Klasky Csupo, their art style was different. It was something so different, radical, and it appealed to kids back then. It appealed to kids with a weird shape. It was different. That was the whole thing. It was different. It felt fresh and new, and how weird and almost kind of gross it can get. Like they closed down, didn't they? Along with, I don't know. I miss Klasky Csupo. But They have this for so long, so many cartoons, Rugrats, Our Real Monsters, that I'm not gonna say anymore because they could bring up here, but yeah.
And that was the point. It embraced gross out humor, dark comedy,
Yeah.
and quirky world building.
These guys
Showing kids
ate.
that not all cartoons
You don't have to be
had
this.
to be bright, bubbly, and filled with talking animals.
Yeah, exactly. That was the standard here. I love Tiny Toons. Who does not love Tiny Toons here? And they even did a lot of referencing like old shows here from like live action from the 70s, 80s, and such. Boy, do I miss those days here when they do that here. It's like they just reference like one point Buster mentions, "Oh, I feel like I'm in an episode of Quantum Leap." It's like, how many kids are gonna get that reference? No kid. That's for the adults. That's what made it. That's kind of what helped make it a family show.
Despite being visually iconic and endlessly creative, Real Monsters never gets the same love as other Nicktoons.
Yeah.
Like Rugrats or Doug.
Oh yeah. They appeared. They made a cameo appearance in
shows, proving that Nickelodeon was willing to
the
take
Grumble.
risks.
They made a cameo in
Those risks
Rugrats.
involved a monster carrying his own eyeballs around like stress balls.
Yep.
It may not have reached SpongeBob levels of fame.
I remember when we saw like Crumb's dad, how he lost his eye. It's like, ooh, that's gotta hurt indeed. Like their currency was toenails, for crying out loud. Oblina was rich because apparently her parents lived right on top of the place where they dumped toenails or something like that. Like they were rich. And Ipkiss here, he was a legacy because his father was the great Slickus. And his mom also lived for a long time here. Like apparently Ipkiss's dad was the one who scared back in the life during colonial America, scaring people here, and he caused people who were carrying the Liberty Bell to drop it and crack.
But Real Monsters was a game changer for kids animation. And honestly, it deserves way more love than it gets.
There was one episode I always wanted to know about here because we see that Ipkiss made friends with a human. And we never learn how or anything like that. It's just the one episode, Ipkiss goes to see him, it's like, and the human goes, "Ipkiss?" And yeah, they work together here, planned like, okay, I'm going to, okay, Ipkiss. I'm going to camp right now. Okay, tell a scary story, you can pop up and everything and scare everyone, get your, like, I want more with that. I was like, cool, where a human and monster work together to scare people. To scare people here, he helps, like they were friends. It very much had like that. I keep saying like that unlikely friendship kind of thing going on here, which was also a thing back then here, where you two people who are you never thought could ever be friends end up being friends and helping each other.
Number 4, Rocko's Modern Life.
Rocko's Modern Life. That was a hoot!
SquarePants took over the world. Rocko's Modern Life
tired of that guy!
Laying the groundwork for Nickelodeon's brand of absurd, off-the-wall humor. In many ways, Rocko was SpongeBob before SpongeBob.
Oh, the carnival.
With the same surreal comedy, the same chaotic energy, and even some of the same creative minds.
Heifer of the carnival.
In 1993, the show followed Rocko.
Oh, yes. They rented a cabin for the weekend here, but the big heads rented it for July, but it's January here, so they got confused.
An Australian wallaby trying to survive everyday
life.
Yep,
he's a wallaby.
Hyper exaggerated.
This is actually where I learned what a wallaby was here. Actually, it's a small kangaroo. I mean, who else knew? Who else had no idea what a wallaby was until this cartoon?
Created world of O-Town.
O-Town, yeah.
By everyday life, I mean getting tortured by his demonic neighbor, Mr. Big Head.
What are you doing here in my cabin?
We rented it for the weekend.
Yep.
That's impossible. I rented this cabin.
No, yeah.
Right here.
July 4th.
Weekend, Big Heads, July 4th.
Take a look. Yep.
Working at a comic
But Mr. Big Head, it's January.
book store and occasionally dealing with a vacuum cleaner that turns evil.
Yeah, there was that here. There was a dog from the Science Center. There was a time when the complete hassle of going grocery shopping during a big fat sale going on. And a lot of episodes also centered around Heifer and Filbert the turtle, their other friend here, with Rocco not even being part of it.
The show was created by Joe Murray, but it's no coincidence that Steven Hillenburg, who would go on to create SpongeBob SquarePants, was a major part of the crew.
Of course.
The DNA of Rocco is all over SpongeBob, from its fast-paced slapstick to its wildly inappropriate jokes.
Caution, you may get wet.
That somehow got past censor.
Yes! Oh, this one here. Yeah, this one has been referenced so many times, but we know this one. Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. Rocco! Mrs. Big Hit, yes, hey. That's awkward.
Seriously, how did they get away with a phone sex hotline gag?
I don't know. Like seriously, like what was the censorship like here? It's like this, and the stuff they got away with in Animaniacs. It's like, were the censors just like taking a few years off at that point? Oh God.
Despite being hilarious, brilliantly animated, and way ahead of its time, Rocco's Modern Life never quite got the love it deserved. It was overshadowed by Rugrats and Doug back in the day.
I mean, I like them equally here. I watched them all. Rugrats, Doug, Our Real Monsters, Rocco, Cat Dog, Chalk Zone, My Life as a Teenage Robot. I'd always watch them.
And now it's mostly remembered by hardcore Nickelodeon fans. But let's be real, without Rocco, there's a good chance we never would have gotten SpongeBob.
Look, Elevator to Hell. They literally somehow managed to get that through the censors. I'm sure they must have changed that or edited that in here, they eventually changed that to Elevator to Heck. Because, yeah, there were tons of episodes where Heifer went to heck.
Gotten SpongeBob. It may not have reached...
the hippo lady. How dare you! Jesus
but Rocco's
Christ!
Modern Life was hugely influential and deserves way more recognition as one of Nickelodeon's finest.
Oh my God!
My, those lenses are lovely.
How dare you!
Oh, wow! Wow! Jeez. A lot of these jokes and situations you don't recognize until much, much later. Ren and Stimpy. This is a show that defined generation.
Number 3, Ren and Stimpy.
And
if there was ever a Nicktoon that pushed the limits of what a kid's cartoon could get away with,
gross out.
It was Ren and Stimpy. This
But
show
gross out
was
shit.
so wildly unhinged, so gross, and so questionable for children that it eventually had to jump ship to MTV.
yes, which then they took the gross out stuff way too far. It's one of those things where it really shows how when it comes to gross out, it's a certain level, kind of less is more kind of thing, and just what kind of gross out stuff you can do.
Because even Nickelodeon was like, yeah, this might be too much. Premiering in 1991, the Ren and Stimpy show followed Ren,
1981,
a psychotic chihuahua with rage
Yep.
issues.
Oh, yeah.
And Stimpy, a dim-witted, happy-go-lucky cat. Their adventures usually involved grotesque close-ups, absurd humor, and moments that made parents deeply uncomfortable.
Good.
And let's not forget the random musical numbers.
Happy.
Because nothing says family-friendly like a song called
Happy, happy, joy, joy.
That
Yes.
somehow sounds deeply sinister.
Oh, it is. Especially because of the fact that Ren is under mind control. Happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, happy, oh, yeah. Come on, Ren!
The real MVP was Billy West, who voiced both Ren and Stimpy after
Really?
season 2.
Oh.
And if Billy West's name sounds familiar, that's because he's also the voice behind Fry, Zoidberg, and Professor Farnsworth in
Damn, all those? And Doug?
Futurama.
And the M&M? The red M&M?
But before all that, he was making Ren scream like a lunatic and giving Stimpy his lovable, dopey charm. Eventually, the constant battles with Nickelodeon over inappropriate content led to Ren and Stimpy moving to MTV, where it became Ren and Stimpy, adult party cartoon, which cranked up the shock factor to 1,000.
Yeah,
it was somehow even less appropriate than before. Love it or hate it, Ren and Stimpy was one of the most unique, boundary-pushing cartoons of its time.
Yeah, I think I remember an episode here where Stimpy becomes a star for this cartoon, and he takes it, leaving Ren, and Ren is first like, meh, but literally a second later, he goes crying and everything, like, Stimpy, you leave me? It's like, it's one of the things where fans have always wondered if Ren and Stimpy are gay for each other, to which the creator always goes, I don't know, it's none of my business. Which is a damn good answer. Like, who cares? Like, doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't really care if they're not here. The roommate, the friend. That's all I need to know. That's all the show needs to tell me. But yeah, then Stimpy came back here, gave up with a contract that would have given him $47 million. Needless to say, Ren was very angry. You stupid idiot!
It helped define Nickelodeon's edgy, experimental era.
Yes.
It laid the groundwork for shows
Daria.
like SpongeBob SquarePants and Invader Zim.
Oh, what a
It may have been too much for Nickelodeon, but...
Yeah, Invader Zim, yeah. Well, I liked Invader Zim. I watched it for like the first couple of seasons. Eventually, it's like, meh. I don't know. I got tired of it.
Animation
But
would
still,
never be the same
fond of it.
after it.
You're a full-grown cat, still watching cartoons. Why, you're 3 years old. Do you know what that is in human years?
I love how Ren is trying to teach you're watching cartoons or something like that. Yeah, this coming from it's coming from the Chihuahua that never brushed his teeth. And that finally came and bit him back.
Number
The Rugrats.
2, Rugrats. If there was one Nicktoon that defined an entire generation,
the first episode.
it's Rugrats.
Yes, Rugrats.
This show wasn't just popular, it was a cultural phenomenon. From movies to
Yeah,
merchandise
Adventures in
to an actual
Gameland.
star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah!
Rugrats was everywhere. And honestly, it deserved every bit of that love.
I had the games. I had the PC games here, the point-and-click adventure, and the whole like sort of like board game style game. And I remember the 10-year anniversary. 10 years and still babies. And of course, we had the sequel spin-off series with All Grown Up, which...
Premiering in 1991, Rugrats gave us a baby's eye view of the world through the adventures of Tommy Pickles, Chucky Finster, Phil and Lil
DeVille, yeah.
the
Phil
original
and
childhood villain,
Angelica Pickles.
Every episode
I hated
felt
her.
like a mini epic, turning everyday moments like getting lost in a grocery store or sneaking into the backyard into grand imaginative adventures.
Yep, and then we've got the movie where Chucky's dad, Charles, married... I forgot her name, but yeah, she had a daughter same age, and stepsisters. Yeah, it was
The
nice.
show was created by Arlene Kolaski, Gabor
Kolaski?
Kasupo, and Paul Germain. And while Nickelodeon had no idea at first just how big the show would become,
Yeah.
it quickly became their biggest hit. The humor
And
was
introduced a
sharp,
new
the
neighbor
characters
as
were
well.
Adorable yet hilarious, and it had just the right amount of heart to keep audiences invested. By the late 90s, Rugrats was unstoppable. It spawned multiple movies, including the Rugrats movie in 1998.
Yep, we saw that in
Gave us
theaters.
the unforgettable anthem, Take Me There, by Maya and Blackstreet, and
don't think-
Rugrats in Paris,
We'll
which
introduce her.
somehow managed to be both hilarious and genuinely emotional.
They try to bring it back,
There
but
was
yeah.
something magical about Rugrats. The way it captured the spirit of childhood.
Yeah, that's
Blending
good. They're like,
innocence,
well,
adventure,
I
and
think
just
Lil
right
liked
amount of
it.
mischief.
Lil liked
It
it.
wasn't just a show, it was a cornerstone.
Yeah, Lil,
of the
exactly. Lil
Nickelodeon
liked that
golden
stuff.
era, and its impact on animation.
Oh, yeah. That was the episode where they tried dog food because they were curious. They finally got it, and Lil was the only one who liked it, and then they started becoming like a dog. I think they think. But yeah, there's plenty of episodes here where they misunderstand here, that they go on these silly little escapades here, like in a bank. The toy store episode. The episode where they thought, like, because a fog rolled in, the house was in the sky. Hubert?
Can't be overstated. Number one,
Doug.
Doug.
Do 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 da da da. Yeah.
For me, Doug isn't just a great Nicktoon, it's personal. We're the
Oh,
same
yeah.
age. I know what it's like to be the new kid in school, having a huge crush on someone I
Patty
was too afraid to
Mayonnaise.
talk to. And of course, befriending the most outlandish kid in class.
Mosquito Valentine, short, or Skeeter for short.
Yeah, Doug Funny, that was basically me. Premiering in 1991, Doug was one of Nickelodeon's original Nicktoons. While it didn't have the wild humor of Ren and
Patty?
Stimpy or the surreal energy of Rocco's Mom.
Mr. Dink, we love Mr. Dink. Like, he was a great guy. He was a bit like the town, like the sage, the helpful, like sage for Doug sometimes. I still remember the episode where Doug had a nightmare because of a movie, a monster movie, and Mr. Dink was like, "You gotta conquer your fear, Doug. I did the same thing with me here with heights. I conquered that fear. I fell down, hit my head, had a dream since." But yeah,
Modern life, it had something
I love
just
Mr. Dink.
as important.
and his wife here, who eventually became the mayor.
Heart. It
Yeah.
was a relatable coming-of-age story about an ordinary kid dealing with everyday problems.
Roger Klutz, and yeah, we had this guy here who was the mayor's original son, and I don't remember much of his scene, but we got also the cat Stinky, who I love how, yeah, like Roger really loved his cat. Left it to Doug to take care of after he went up, and I still have that moment in my theater in here where before he leaves with his mom, he says, "Hey, Funny, I'm counting on you." It's like the seriousness, the heavy weight in his voice here. Kudos to the voice actor. It was quite clear that, yeah. And we learned, and that's the episode we learned that Stinky was a girl. Which, yeah.
Problems, bullies, embarrassing moments, and the never-ending
Pork
struggle
chop.
of trying to impress your crush, Patty Mayonnaise. Doug's world was simple but memorable. His weirdly colorful.
Yeah, really colorful here. His sister right here, Dink. BB Bluff of the Bluffington family. And she had a crush on Skeeter, but there was a whole thing where she put her love letters in Doug's locker by mistake. There was all that thing, and yeah, that was silly. And we had Chalky here, who was pretty much a freaking Chalky Studebaker. I remember so much here. Chalky, which his whole thing was like he was the big winner. His whole family was about winning here. He had so many trophies, and yet not even close to his never-seen brother Cliff. But yeah, he was like in football, swimming. He was the first trumpet. He's been there was a whole episode where he cheated on a test here, looking at Doug's, and Doug was kind of blamed for that because it's hard to believe that Chalky would cheat. But Chalky eventually admitted, "No, I did here." Why did he cheat? It's because he's been training for this, working for that he doesn't have time to study. It's like crazy. Oh god, I forgot her name here, but I know I mostly remember her when she punched Roger in the gut. That was like, "Oh, why don't you grow up, you big baby?" And here we got Al and Moose Leach, the Leach brothers. Yes. It's like, there was an episode around them where, interview the family and stuff like that, but they were kind of ashamed of their father, who was a baker. Oh boy, we got the teacher, Mrs. Wingo. Yeah, good, cool. Oh, here we got the beats. IEU, Killer Tofu. We got the mayor, of course, eventually lost to Mrs. Dink right here. The Bluff fam, Dee Dee, BB's mom and dad, Stinky, and of course Lamar Bone, vice principal of Lamar Bone here. Assistant principal, how you like to say it here. With this whole thing was that he'd like to yodel, and I remember the episode where because Doug had this whole thing with comic book. He was an artist, stuff like that, comic book personalities like Quail Man, and he used Mr. Bone as being a rule meister. And I love how that episode where he just put the rules, used his own rules against him. It's like, you just broke one of your own rules. No grabbing other people's comic, huh? Right there in the court. It's right there. And a punishment for that is 1 Saturday detention, where they all are right now. A silly and pointless rule. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't remember these guys here, but I do remember when the Bluff Scouts here, when Roger was in charge, because Mr. Dink had to go off for a minute, and yeah, even they couldn't stand Roger being in charge of the Bluff of their troop.
Colored classmates, his iconic journal, his dog Porkchop, and his legendary imaginary alter ego
Quail Man.
Let's not forget
He also had like an Indiana Jones alter ego and a 007 alter ego.
Music. Doug's acapella soundtrack is forever burned
That's
into our
acapella,
brains.
really? Yeah.
While Doug eventually moved to Disney and changed a bit,
yeah.
Nickelodeon's version is where the magic was.
Yeah, I do like how the first episode that they explained all the changes that happened. Like, it's like a domino effect kind of thing, where they built a brand new school in the trailer park where Roger lived. Mr. BB's dad here gave Roger's mom a lot of money so he can move out here, and just a whole lot of things with the Honker Burger was changed to Fat Jack, so they go to Swirly's instead. Swirly was another. A lot of the side characters in this show got so much fleshing out. We don't do that anymore here. Like, a lot of these characters would get their own story, but there was some cool concept in this Disney version. Like, I like the idea where the episode, a lot of characters switch places here, like switch lives. Like Patty was being homeschooled, so switch lives here. Like, it literally takes the whole concept of walk a mile in another person's shoes and make an episode about that.
It wasn't flashy or over the top, but it spoke to kids who felt like underdogs. The ones who didn't always fit in, but eventually found their place.
And out
of all the Nicktoons, Doug is the one that felt the most real. And for me, it will always be number one.
Yeah, I remember a lot of episodes here which are timeless now. Like, they've aged great here. Like, when Doug was so obsessed with beating a video game that it's like to the point where he's like, that's all he could think about. Yeah. The episode where his sister and they stayed home. They were staying home with the parents were away, but they had to have a babysitter because they acted like, well, yeah. But yeah, there were so many cartoons. And I love how the background here, he's got, like, we can see My Life as a Teenage Robot, Jenny. You can see Daggett from the Angry Beavers. Hey, Arnold! Oh, wow.
Doug's world was simple but memorable. Thank you so much for watching.
So this was a nice nostalgic look, stuff like that. I really loved Mr. Dink. Love Mr. Dink here. He was a very good friend. I love his joke here where all the stuff he's got, he always ends with, very expensive. Fun times. They really don't make them like that anymore. And a lot of these shows as well, well, they kind of ended open. Because there was never like a full-on season conclusion, like, okay, this episode marks the end of the series here. It was like, it was ended in a way where, hey, it feels like, okay, when's the next batch of new episodes? Nowadays, but also these shows were also quite episodic in nature. They were all, I mean, we had some two-parters here and there, but for the most part, they were all self-contained, so yeah. These are shows I remember here. I kind of wish I had more. Like, yeah, like I said, Hey Arnold, Angry Beavers. I mean, I mentioned Cat Dog, Chalk Zone, Kablam. Come on, I love Kablam. All right, guys, thank you for watching. What Nicktoons show do you guys remember, like, watching all the time? They really need to revive Oh Yeah cartoons. That was a genius concept here. It's like both Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network had it. Like, Nickelodeon had Oh Yeah cartoons, and Cartoon Network had cartoons, where they basically just air pilots for possible new shows to list here and see how the audience responds to them here. It's how we got shows like, in this case, Nickelodeon, Chalk Zone, My Life as a Teenage Robot, and so many more. Without cartoons, we wouldn't even have the Powerpuff Girls. Think about that. So, thank you for watching. As always, comment all you all thought. Look out for more videos. So, next one, this is Mecha-san, logging out.